Good morning, hello, welcome to the TriathlonDan YouTube channel, the YouTube channel where you never wear helmets straight, apparently. Anyway, I'm out for a bike ride. It is Sunday. I was just going to say Sunday morning. It's actually Sunday early afternoon. I'm about an hour and a quarter into the ride though. I missed the club ride by about 2.5 hours. We had a late night last night. We went around to Triple Brutal James's and we're not used to having late nights, so it took me a little while to get out of bed this morning. Just behind me is Carsington Water, and it's looking like it's got a bit more water in than it had a couple of months ago when I was here for the Active Training World Duathlon. I am just coming around here the opposite way to what the course goes. It's a nice little loop. I'm just familiarising myself with the roads again. I'm coming back here in March to do the Triathlon England Standard Distance Duathlon Championships. And I need every little bit of help I can get, so if that little bit of help is knowing the course very well, then that's what I'm going to take. Talking of every little bit of help I can get, freshly waxed chain on the bike from NRG, of course, all the links in the description down below. They have just had a big Black Friday sale on. Sorry for missing that on the videos, but if you use the code TriathlonDan, you can get 10% off a race wax chain, which is what this is. I know what you're thinking, what's the point of a wax chain in winter? Well, that's exactly what I thought, but genuinely, it keeps your drivetrain so clean. Like, my bike's ditched, but the drivetrain is sparkly clean, so long may that continue. One less job to do. I can just wipe the bike over. Anyway, this ride's probably going to be 2.5 hours-ish, I think. I'm going to crack on. Then we're going to have a look at, well, I want to have a look at my training for the last 4 weeks, like a monthly review. And because I want to do it, and it's my channel, that's what we're going to do. I'll see you back home. Okay, so ride done and dusted. It was about 2 hours and 40 minutes, something like that. I felt really good, to be honest. I'm nursing a bit of a saddle sore at the minute, and I don't know if she'd pop them or not, but I have popped it this afternoon, and I'm hoping that it will then miraculously recover overnight. It's from riding the crit bike Friday night. Stupid. Anyway, right, I said I'd look at my training for the last few weeks. So for those who perhaps don't watch every day, I was coached in October, as in triathlon training coached, and then from November onwards I was not. So the first week, you can see at the end of November, end of October, we're looking at now, were like planned sessions by somebody else, and from then onwards it's myself. I'm also going to be looking at my weight, because that's one of the things I'm focused on this winter. From the beginning of November, I started being nutrition coached, that's the right term, by Sam at Total Endurance Nutrition. You can see I took my weight every day, but on Sunday of every week, I've taken a 7-day rolling average of my weight. I think that's a good measure. It irons out those peaks and troughs and takes a 7-day average. So end of October, I'd had a good month training, to be honest. I felt okay, I had a bit of a glute niggle there at the end of the week, but that cleared up pretty quickly. And my 7-day average weight at the end of that week was 213 pounds. So first week of training myself, I'm not going to go into every session. I might pick out one or two. 13 hours of training, 795 training stress score points, 1 swim. This is when my shoulder niggle really flared up and I didn't get much swimming done. 8 hours on the bike, just under 5 hours of running, and that's a good week for me. That 32 miles of running, 33 miles of running, felt really good. See, I've been to the physio there to get my shoulder looked at, and then started a period of enforced rest. For my 3-day, for some reason I took weight 3 days, just averaged 210.6. That is what's that, 2.5 pounds lighter than the week before. Okay, pretty all right. The week after, 14 hours, 55 minutes of training. This was a pretty good week for me, to be honest. Everything sort of lined up, life diary lined up. I didn't miss any sessions. I got a decent ride in on the Sunday, and that sort of bumps the volume up. So 15 hours of training, 920 training stress score points. A couple of outdoor rides that bumped that up. So the club ride on the Wednesday and the Friday really ramped that up a little bit, the training stress. Just under 10 hours on the bike that week, and then 5 hours of running 37 miles. That's a big week for me at any time of the year. So I was feeling it, but I was feeling good. You can see down the Friday, at the end of the chain gang, I did 4.25 minutes at 417 watts and felt great. I'm trying to put more of this feedback in so I can look back on it. So yeah, felt good. Some good indoor training, some good outdoor riding, and plenty of good running. The week after, 12.5 hours of training, so 2.5 hours less training. However, I did do the Derby 10 miler on the Sunday, and that meant that on the Saturday I had a mechanical on the bike, which dropped a couple of hours out of my volume. So I'd planned to do about 14 and a half to 15 hours of training, but these things happen, don't they? That's just part of being an age group, but these things happen, and I wasn't able to, or I didn't make up the difference. Another good week. That 10 miler I was really happy with, especially at the end of a big couple of weeks training. I performed better than I hoped. So yeah, feeling pretty good. And then at the end of that week, my 7-day average weight was 207.5 pounds. Good week's training, no swimming. And then that brings me on to this week, which is 12 hours of training, 7.5 hours on the bike, and 4 hours and 20 of running, 30.6 miles. Now, I have been running 6 days a week, as you can see. This week, I've only run 5 days, which has knocked my weekly mileage down, running a fair bit. I thought about running today, but to be honest, I like to take Sundays just an endurance ride and then spend the rest of the day recovering and getting ready for the next week. The reason I'm down on my mileage is because the fatigue from the Derby 10 hit me hard like midweek, so I had a rest day on Wednesday, my first full rest day. You can see that, but the reason as to why that was, I don't need to then make up that mileage. The idea is that if you're resting, that you're taking that time off and allowing your body to recover a little bit. If I'm just going to make up the training that I've missed, it's not really doing the resting thing, is it? So yeah, there we go. 7-day average weight, 206.1 pounds. So slowly chipping away at the weight, slowly feeling fitter, and that's just what it is, isn't it? Over the next 2 or 3 weeks, we're really focusing on perhaps dropping a little bit more weight, but it's going in the right direction. It's not particularly happening super fast, but there's 4 weeks there of consistent. So going from 213 pounds to 206 as a 7-day average. I'm pretty happy with that. That's a 7 pounds loss. That's decent. But if I'm looking at where I want to be in the spring, maybe it needs to be a little bit better than that. But I'm not worried about it just yet, to be honest. I'm going to see how we get on. People always ask me, when do you have rest weeks? Well, I have them when I feel like I need them. So like this week, when I struggled on Wednesday, I had that rest day. And the next day, I thought, I'll see how I feel. And I felt good. So I'm going to start training again. And I much prefer doing that rather than trying to plan in a week. I'm not a hypochondriac, but I'm realistic in the fact that I'm pretty sure that at some point over the next 2 to 3 months, I'm going to have a period of illness like everybody is. Coughs, colds, flu, Rona, whatever's going around, it's going to happen, isn't it? So I almost try and just hold out my rest weeks for then. I know you don't fully recover when you're ill, but I don't want to have a rest week and then get ill and then have found that I've lost loads of training if possible. I might come to a time when I'm having to take rest before then, but we'll see. I get bored over a week as well, to be honest. Like I enjoy training, I enjoy the exercise, and with weight loss being one of my aims, I need to keep training regularly. If I'm taking 2 or 3 rest days in a week, then it just makes it harder. So yeah, there's my training, there's my eating, there's my weight. If you've got any questions about any of this, please do let me know in the comment section down below. You can see this week has been a fair bit easier training stress-wise. So although the volume was similar to last week, the training stress was lower, mainly because of the run. It wasn't as hard this week, and a full rest day as well. So yeah, hope you enjoy that. Hope it gives you a bit more of an insight into what my training looks like. Ignore the fitness, fatigue, form scores. I don't really think that they're the be-all and end-all. It's much better judging yourself on how you actually feel, but the CTL number does normally hover around 100 for me. That's sort of an indication of the training load that I'm doing at the minute, but I don't target that. That's just a case of the numbers are what they are. So there we go. Hit subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I will see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock for some more proper triathlon training. Get back in the pool this week.